Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on The Merchant of Venice and we have made it to Act 2. Huzzah! We are in Act 2, Scene 1, and we get to check in with Portia again. Portia, you remember, is a fairly wealthy woman, but her father decreed before he died, he put it in his will, that anybody who wanted to marry her had to come and take this test, and they would be shown 3 boxes, one of silver, one of gold, and one of lead, and if they could pick the correct box that has a picture of her in it, then they can marry her. If they choose wrong, then they have to leave and never speak to her again. So suitors have been coming in from all over the world to try to woo her. Nobody has guessed the correct box yet, but a new group of suitors came in at the end of Act 1, Scene 2 to try to win her, and that's where we are now in Act 2, Scene 1. The Prince of Morocco is here, but in the folio he's called Maracas, and I don't know if that's a racist thing, because this particular speech that he gives is also maybe a little bit racist, or maybe he's trying to head off anybody else's racism in the scene, and I apologize in advance for that, but I did want to do it because there are elements of this speech that are similar to elements of one of the most famous speeches in this play, and if you wanted to, you might be able to make the case based on these 2 speeches that Shakespeare was not racist or anti-Semitic and was maybe trying to open other people's eyes so that they would be less racist and anti-Semitic with these 2 particular speeches. So anyway, we are at Portia's, and the Prince of Morocco is there, and he walks in. He's described as dark-skinned, but wearing all white, and there's a big flourish as he comes in with Portia and a whole bunch of other people, and he kicks off the scene by saying, "Mislike me not for my complexion, the shadowed livery of the burnished sun, to whom I am a neighbor and near bred. Bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebus' fire scarce thaws the icicles, and let us make incision for your love to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine. I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine hath feared the valiant. By my love I swear, the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. I would not change this hue, except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen." So what he's saying here is, don't be afraid of the fact that I'm coming to woo you, even though I have dark skin. He's trying to head off potentially Portia's racist tendencies, or he knows he's coming to a country that maybe has racist tendencies, but he's saying, you know, yes, I have dark skin and I love it, and bring me a really pale-skinned guy and we will both cut ourselves somewhere, arms, whatever, and show you that we both have red blood, we both bleed the same, and are therefore, in my opinion, we are both equally worthy to come and try to woo you. And he's like, there are people who have been scared of me because of the color of my skin, but I'll tell you, the hottest women back home in Morocco, they find me really sexy, so I wouldn't change anything about myself, except maybe if it would please you, which is a horrible way to end what was otherwise such a potentially empowering speech. But in Portia's, on the plus side for Portia, she responds by saying that, you know, she's open to whatever suitor, and she's also bound by this decree that her father put forth that she has to marry whoever finds the picture in the right box. So she doesn't get to say yes to him because he has dark skin. She doesn't get to say no to him because he has dark skin. He has just as much of a right to choose the boxes as anybody else. And he's a very eloquent man who uses some beautiful language, and we will get to hear a little bit more of that beautiful language as his response to her saying, "You have just as much of a right to try this as anybody else does." We get to hear his response in tomorrow's monologue. So I will see you then for that. Mwah.